Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Self-Made Show. I've got a very special guest on today, Errol Avelino. He is a video marketing guru, and he knows a lot about Facebook ads, how to use videos to drive traffic, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. I'm going to have my notepad ready because I need this personally for my business, and if you're running a business, you probably need it as well. So, hey, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you being on here today.
Awesome. Really appreciate it, Jason.
So we got actually introduced in, I believe, I know the Digital Marketer Engage Facebook group, and you were kind enough to give me a consultation on video animation, and we've been kind of talking ever since then. So I guess, man, just start from kind of the beginning. What's your story?
Awesome. So basically, my story kind of began back in 2012. When I got into filmmaking, and the idea was I needed some way to make money so that I could marry the girl who I'm now married to. So mission accomplished. But my brother-in-laws had pulled me aside, and they knew I wanted to be a filmmaker, and they said, "Hey, what's your plan here, bud? Because we don't really see like how you're going to be making money and how you can actually take care of Sheila, who is my wife." So I had to answer them, and my answer to them was basically, well, I'm gonna start a company, and I'm gonna learn from the ground up. And the journey has been excellent. We've had a lot of successes. I didn't know how to do anything as far as business is concerned when I first started, and it's literally been a crash course, kind of ever since. But one of the probably best developments, one of the coolest things that's happened is that video, as I came into it as a filmmaker, and somebody who then later went on to work with a ton of different companies from all different levels. We worked with Fortune 1000 companies on their video marketing, but then I also was able to work with small businesses in my area, because I had a heart for that as well.
Right.
So the thing that's developed over time has been this idea that, video, especially, you're seeing it now really predominantly on Facebook, you've seen it on YouTube, but video is taking like the forefront in how people are communicating and how people are advertising. We see it now, Facebook is doing like live video. And companies are trying to move towards that end. And it's been cool for me because as a filmmaker, my goal is to tell stories. And as an entrepreneur, my goal, in a sense, is to again tell stories, but then to help people as well. So merging those two, that desire to help people and that desire to tell stories and to basically build relationships. When I think of telling stories, I think of building relationships. Merging those two together, we're seeing that is the way that marketing is going. And the more you kind of create that one-on-one feel, the better. So that brings us here today.
Yeah, man, it's definitely the way that I think everything's going. I mean, what can you do other than video right now, other than like virtual reality? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, marketing.
Who knows what happens with virtual reality? Because the more that technology comes in the picture,
right.
Maybe we're gonna have VR Facebook ads.
I'm sure eventually in the next like 5 years, man, they're always doing something new. But I wanted to bring the viewers' attention to and we're going to get into this because you ran a really interesting case study that we were talking about. But avalancheroi.com is where you can find Errol's case study. So definitely check that out and see what he's up to over there, because he's got some really good success. I mean, what I like about you, man, is like you're not just like theory, like you're actually doing this stuff every day. So
yeah. And so one of the cool things about that particular case study, that was a case study that we shared around on the DM Engage group, and it's a case study that has really, I don't know, for me, it was the first time I'd released out that type of information for free to not just my clients. And the response to it, just again, every now and then you need a quick pick me up. You need a kick in the pants to say, yes, you're on the right direction.
Right.
That case study was
Validation.
definitely, yeah, that case study, you know, it was validating to go through it, but I've seen those results, you know, I've seen that happen. But it was validating even more so to get the response that it got. You know, 200 people liked it just in that group. And then, you know, several people followed up with me and they were asking questions. They wanted to know more about how it all worked. And, you know, there were some details I left out that I didn't realize I had left out. It's a pretty detailed case study, but you know, those guys are actually trying this stuff. So when they looked at it, they were like, well, you know, what was your return? And there was one girl who like led up with several really cool questions. And I was really happy to answer them. So I felt like in many ways that this case study was validating that people are looking at this, especially you know, advertisers right now and small business owners are looking at this as a huge opportunity for them.
Yeah, let's talk about the case study because I mean, I'll let you tell it, but you ran some video ads for a company, right? Filmmakers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the things that we were talking about off air was we were talking about the fact that I'm basically working together with a film company to develop some case studies for another, you know, real project I'm really passionate about. It's called the Film Thrive Podcast, and it's basically about how filmmakers can be profitable at whatever level. And it's showing how independent filmmakers can basically make a living with their filmmaking. And it's all this stuff. It's all related to Facebook video ads. It's all related to how to look at video today. So the case study kind of began with the challenge of I was brand new to the team. We had kind of just started talking about, you know, how we wanted to kind of establish our relationship. And I came in there knowing that I wanted to develop some case studies with these guys. So they're going to be running a Kickstarter in a month from when we began talking. And I said, well, you know what? Let's actually get you some leads so that you can have people ready to go for this Kickstarter. And the huge challenge is that they're in an entertainment niche. You know, they're filmmakers, but then they're also making card games and they're making board games. And this was their very first card game. So there was nobody in their audience who actually lined up with this desire. You know, with this interesting card games.
Right.
So I had to work with them on developing their audience. I had to work with them on developing what kind of content they were even going to offer them, because they still didn't even have anything really to offer people yet. They didn't have card games to sell at this point. They didn't have board games to sell at this point, because this is their first one. So this was really going to set the stage. So the case study kind of follows that train of thought. I kind of played it out in the case study to show kind of what I was thinking originally. One of the first things that I thought would be great to offer them, you know, the DM guys talk about, and I really agree with this because I don't see any other way to go. And I think that the goal here is always to provide value, but I think the way that you break that up is you have entertain, you have inform, and then you have teach. And I think if you're doing one of those three things, you're offering some kind of value, because we can't, with this particular niche, the challenge is, you know, in many other niches, you can teach people something and that's super valuable. But in this particular example, we didn't have anything that we could teach, you know, people who love card games. Right. It had to be a different kind of value. So we played around with the idea of, you know, offering them. We had two offers that we wanted to do, and we played around with both. We wanted to either just do a giveaway, and the giveaway really took off. And then we wanted to do a series of card game videos that people could opt in for. And I think the giveaway beat out the card game videos, and I'm going to go into that a little bit. But the giveaway took off. I mean, that was when, I mean, if you're looking at the case study, that's when things really lit up. We led with this like 30-second video of the guy who started the company, And I made the video like a square.
Okay.
I made the video like a square, and we had the video play, and then we had words, so white words in black, like over black, that basically said a card game made by filmmakers.
Okay.
And that text, I think, really like caught people. Like they really wanted to know what that was. You know, they wanted there was some intrigue there. So that got them to click. But then the other thing that we did was at the like close to the beginning of the video, not you know, it wasn't at the very beginning, but close to the beginning of the video. We first opened with Ron's face. You know, he's the guy who started the company. Ron's face talking about you know, this card game that we're about to do, and he kind of introduces himself, and you know, it's like really quick, like in 3 seconds he says, "Hi, I'm Ron from the Forge Studios," and you know, he says something else. I forget what the next thing he says is, and then immediately right after that, he says, "Hi, I'm Ron from the Forge Studios, and we make where we make films and games."
Okay.
And then immediately right after that, we cut up like several things that the Forge Studios had done right back to back to back. So it was all like this really fast montage. So my theory is that, you know, one of the reasons why so many people watched the video and why we had such a high, the reason why we had such a high relevance score was because of the content. But one of the reasons why I think we had such a high view rate and it was such a low cost per view was a mix of the relevance score and the fact that the video was easy to spot. Not only do we have the black and white lettering, and that's not always a good idea because that can also be like a meme. And you know, sometimes it's referred to as it's making fun of something. So that's one thing that, you know, you have to watch out for when you're using that trick. But it's really effective to have you know, the text be there, that it's like right in front of people, it's in front of people's faces, and then to also have like a little montage happening in the video that is flashing in front of people's eyes really draws your attention. It catches people, and it's only for a second, and then it's Ron's face again as he goes and he talks more about what we're hoping to do and kind of what's going on with the game. The video in total is 30 seconds, and we racked up about 113,000 views on it at 0.2 cents per view. And when we later went back and retargeted those people for the offer to get the free, potentially get a free card game if they join this giveaway, not only did people who were watching that video, we got a higher click-through rate on the people who were watching that video, or not just click-through rate, opt-in rate from people who are watching the video, but we also got, you know, really cheap leads from following up with those people. So, and it took us, just so you know, it took us like, I think at most 4 hours to put together this video and get it uploaded and everything.
Wow. So the video was done, and then the initial video, when they clicked on that video, they were taken to what kind of page?
So they were taken to a landing page. It was a page that I'd put together solely for, you know, collecting leads for the pre-Kickstarter. You know, we called it our pre-Kickstarter page because, you know, it was literally all about guiding people through, you know, this is where you can click to, or this is where you want to opt in. This is where you want to click to learn more about the rules of the game when it comes up, and then the FAQs. So, because those were things that later in the comments of the video. See, this is another thing too that I like about video is it starts a conversation, and in the comments, the conversation is continued. And if you've really hit the nail on the head with engaging with people with that video, and you kind of set yourself up for the opening of a conversation, people are going to talk with you. They're going to dialogue with you. And so one of the things that happened was we got a lot of great comments on the video. One of them being that there was this massive concern that was echoed all the way down the comments of, you know, you talked about the game, but you didn't, I'm not seeing like FAQs or, rules. Like they wanted to know more about the game. Because initially my thought was, let's just tease them, let's just kind of get them jazzed. But they weren't satisfied with that. They really wanted, like, this was like a big deal to them, that they wanted to see more about the game. So next day we uploaded our FAQ and our rules. So
gave them a little bit more information. So they were actually like, hey, like, I like what you got going on, but what the heck is it? So
yeah, they want to know more because that community, one thing that we learned about that community is that they love Kickstarters. They don't mind experimenting with new games, and they're used to seeing Kickstarters on a regular basis. One of the top sites for card gamers and board gamers is called Board Game Geek, and they essentially, you see Kickstarters show up there all the time. And Kickstarters for board games and card games are blowing up. It's literally the top thing for what gets most funded on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
so
I would have thought.
we knew right away that they would receive a new game, but when they said that they needed to learn more, all right, so we had to respond to that.
Wow, man, I'm intrigued because obviously, I mean, I think we're both in kind of the same boat, and you're going to be doing a course on all of what you've been talking about, and that'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So if you guys go to Avalanche ROI, which I just signed up while we were talking, because I want to see.
Oh, really?
I want to see the case
Right
study, man.
I probably got the alert then on my phone.
Did you?
That
okay, cool.
That just tells me that my phone's not nearby.
Yeah, cool, man. So yeah, I went and signed up, and I want to check it out because I mean, now I'm gonna be selfish. I want to know, like, because you're doing a course, I'm doing a course. A lot of the people watching this are gonna do a course or something like that to make extra money, teaching something that we've learned or that we know. What would be a good way to utilize kind of Facebook video ads for launching a course or something like that?
Okay, so speaking for you and what you're looking to do.
Me or anybody, just anybody doing a course or just kind of like the best practices to do this.
Yeah. So honestly, I feel like there's a huge opportunity if you're looking to create a course. It really depends on what the course is about. But 9 times out of 10, I mean, if the person is going to be interested in learning from you, they need to get used to learning from you. So I would say that, one of the easiest things to do right away is to either take, one of two things, you can, so we were talking about earlier that you can use your iPhone to film. And honestly, I encourage people to use their iPhone to film because it's like, when you put your violin away in the case and you say you're going to practice, but it's in that case, you have to pull it out and you have to tune it, you're not going to do it. So if there's a barrier between you and actually, getting your video ad uploaded and done, then, there's going to be a problem. You're not going to do it. So I tell people just use your iPhone because I don't want the technology to be a barrier. And the crazy thing is that iPhone videos are very well received on Facebook because it feels more like a one-to-one interaction. And I really feel like that's the power of Facebook video ads, is it creates this relational one-to-one interaction without you actually needing to be there and talk with every single person that watches that video. There's no way that I could talk to 113,000 people in the way that we spoke to them with that video. So I would say that you just take one section of your course, and it's really product splintering. And I actually talk about splintering and looking at your Facebook or looking at your videos as kind of a roadmap, of developing that relationship. So you got your cold set of videos, your warm set of videos, and your hot set of videos they're all targeting those specific audiences. And when you look at where you want to take people, splinter, think backwards, think from where you want to go, and then think backwards so that when you're creating your videos, it feels like a relational conversation. because the person who goes through those videos is going to be watching the first video, and then that video should eventually migrate them over to the next video. And you have to think about it backwards in order for it to make sense forward. So when they go through that forwards process of watching each of these videos, in order, they're going to feel like a relationship has more and more been established. So one of the things that I did when I recorded my course was I spoke to the people who were watching as if I'd already been speaking to them, because essentially by the time they get to my course, they already know who I am. They already know a lot about me. They know that I'm a filmmaker. So a lot of things that I'm doing in that course are all geared towards people who know the basics about me. So therefore, when I create my other videos, I need to establish those things. Right. So some of the things that you want to think about when you're making, so that obviously the first video you want to make has to be towards that cold traffic and developing those relationships. So, one of the things I would say is just take a piece of your course and you can either take the video from the course or you can use your iPhone and refilm it. I would say use your iPhone and refilm it, because then you can speak differently. Because like I said, I spoke differently in my course than I did when
when you got this up here like this, it's like you're talking to like a friend almost,
Exactly.
You have that FaceTime turned on. I do that with my YouTube videos. Like I have that on, but if I'm standing in front of a webcam, I feel like I'm like a reporter on the news and it's stiff, you know what I mean? So yeah. Definitely fully endorse that. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So then with the first cold video, I would say, teach them something that naturally is going to lead towards your course. Teach them something that if they listen to this thing, if they watch this thing, then they must, also want something else over here. One of the things that I think people get afraid of, though, when they do that is they don't want to give away too much, because obviously this is going to be free. This is a Facebook video ad that you're putting up. It's just content, and it's going out for free. And in fact, they're thinking I'm paying to give away my content, but really what's happening there is you're establishing a relationship and you're putting yourself in a really good position in that person's eyes, the viewer's eyes, to solve whatever problem that you're trying to solve for them. So on top of that, again, to answer that one concern of I'm paying money and I'm giving away a section of my course essentially. If the more value you add into that video, the more likely it's going to be shared. So that's something huge to keep in mind, because our video, one of the other reasons why it hit the level of views that it did as quickly as it did, we weren't spending a ton of money on it. Our budget on that video was $20 a day, and we were only running it for a couple and so it reached 113,000. Actually, I think that particular video we were running for even less than that. I think we were running that video for maybe 2 weeks. I'd have to go back into the analytics, and it might say exactly what happened there in the case study. But anyway, so one of the reasons why it took off so fast was because of the fact that people were sharing it. And the reason they were sharing it is because a new game was coming out and they have gamer friends and they want to play the game with their gamer friends. So they were sharing it to their friends. In the case of a course, if you're answering a specific problem, if you're giving kind of a complete answer, not just sort of like hey guys, I'm going to teach you this, but you have to go click over here. If you're giving people a specific answer, then they're going to want to share it because it's content, and people share content all the time, especially on Facebook.
What are the guys who are really killing it? I mean, I see Frank Kern running video ads every day. I'm sure other guys are doing it too. Can you analyze some guys that are kind of doing things right and maybe some of the mistakes that some people are making? I know we probably don't see a lot of mistakes because, if it's not working, they're going to.
If it's a mistake, if it's a mistake, then it's not working, and it probably didn't reach us.
Right.
So basically, one of the guys. So yeah, I'm seeing Frank Kern too, and honestly, I think Frank Kern is someone to model. And I think that if you see one of Frank Kern's ads, I mean, I sometimes just want to click on Frank Kern's ads just to see what he's trying, because what's really cool about him is he's always trying new things, and I can tell when he's experimenting, because there's been a couple times. So one time he did a video ad, and he's doing the whole, because you can't see people or you can't hear people, you can just see them because the video is autoplaying. And so he's doing the whole point to his ear. He's like waving for a second. He's obviously like on a computer at his home, and he's just sort of talking to the webcam, very similar to how I am right now. And he's just trying to get you to turn on the audio. But then so he goes in to start teaching you something. And, he teaches for a little bit in the video. And then he wraps up by saying, his call to action, and it really flows nicely together. His call to action is, if you want to improve on these results, or if you want me to show you how I got some of these results, because he just taught you a system. He just taught you something that he's done in all of his businesses and so on and so forth. He says, if you want to get all the details on this system, if you want to get all, because he has taught you something complete, but obviously you want to know more, because he can't teach you enough. And that's something you have to remember. You can't teach somebody enough in 10 minutes even to fully appease their curiosity, because you have experienced how to do that, and your understanding of it is far more complete than somebody who hasn't experienced it. So 10 minutes is not enough. I mean, you can consume hours upon hours of content and still have questions.
Sure.
So the thing that he then sent people to, this was what I thought was interesting, because this was what he was testing, or I believe he was testing, because I'd never seen this before, and Frank Kern is the type of guy who would test this very thing. So he would send people over to a landing page where they could sign up for the webinar, right? And then on the thank you page, he basically had a video going over what the webinar is going to be about, and then he tries to make the sale right there.
Right. Yeah.
He literally is making the sale right there on that thank you page for the webinar, whereas most people wait till the webinar and then make the sale. But he's saying it was like a call to action that says, if you want to learn more, like if you want to learn more, or if you want to get ahead before the webinar, watch this video. And it doesn't autoplay. It's a video you actually have to click on. He starts talking about this, or I believe you had to click on it. I actually don't remember, and it actually might be different if you're looking at it from a phone versus on the landing page itself.
Yeah, I don't think phones are auto playing now. I think it's only like computers, but I could be wrong about it.
And that's specifically on the page, like on his landing page. I don't think phones will autoplay on the landing page, because then it has to take up the whole screen typically. So anyway, I was watching this on my phone. I did have to click on it, but it was very enticing to click on, because ahead of it, it said some things you should know. Like, it was like something to the extent of, it left me with the idea that these were things I needed to know before I went into the webinar. So so I clicked on it, and he starts teaching, and I can't look away. I literally
can't. Yeah, he's good too, because he teach it like like you're saying, like
he's not afraid.
Yeah, he's giving you good value. Like, if you watch his stuff, it's gonna be good and you're gonna learn. But so yeah, like people that are afraid to give away their content, like he's giving away good content, and
he's giving away great content.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So yeah.
So one of the things that he does there at the end is, much like in the first video where he's sort of teaching you something and then leads to the webinar call to action very naturally, same exact thing. He says, hey, so I just showed you my system, but he doesn't talk about that. He says, in a way though, it's like, so he shows you the system, and then he's like, and I teach you this in way more depth in my course. And then he talks about some of the stuff that he goes to, that he teaches in the course, and breaks it down, and it all lines up. And even the pitch, I knew I'm in marketing. I'm familiar with getting pitched. I knew I was being pitched, and I watched the whole thing. Yeah. I recognized that I was not ready to spend any money right now, I had that in my head, and I knew I was being pitched, but I still watched it. I watched the whole thing.
Right.
And the reason was because it was super valuable. Like, even as he's telling me what he's going to teach me, my mind is thinking, I kind of want to store this for later, because Frank Kern might be somebody who I need to go to when, you know, I'm trying to do the very thing he's telling me how to do.
And I think it was a webinar. Was it the webinar program he's teaching, or is it something else?
I think it is the webinar program that he's teaching. It was either that, or it was it was either a webinar program or a launch program. Okay. I forget which one it was, but it definitely, the core of what he's talking about is he's talking about you know, the success that he's had in all of his businesses and how it's all connected to either a webinar or a launch system. Cool. But he does sort of refer to even his webinars as sort of a launch system, you know?
Yeah, I love the thank you page being a pitch, basically, because no one I mean, a lot of people go to your webinar, especially if you're Frank Kern, but if you're not like a well-known name, they're just not going to go. One
of the hardest things to do when you're doing a live webinar is to get people to show up, you know, because, you know, people get busy, and setting a date that you have to commit to is hard. And, you know, that's why there's like email sequences to help follow up with people. But I mean, it's hard to get people to actually show up. And so to give somebody, again, more value right away, and then make the pitch there, two things happen. Even if they don't buy then, they're going to show up to the webinar because you didn't go into the detail you're going to go into at the webinar. You got value. You got value. So you know you're going to get value again when you go to the webinar. And then you're ready for the pitch. You're ready for the product, and you've had 3 instances in just that one funnel. Okay, in just that one formula, you've had 3 instances where you have been given value, and he has led you to the next part of the relationship. So you had the first video that you saw on Facebook. You click that. You have the thank you page video that then pitched you to the product, and you had a little experience with the product. And then you go to the webinar, and you again have another experience with him where he gives you value, and then you again have another experience where you pitch the product. If you don't buy in that sequence, I would be impressed.
Yeah, well, especially with him, because he's good at what he does. What he's doing is
so simple. What he's doing is so simple. He's not using any fancy technology. He's not using anything crazy. You know, it's easy to put together a thank you page, and it's easy to put a video on your thank you page. Mm-hmm. It's easy to run a webinar. There's plenty of pieces of technology that have made it easier. Even if you can't afford some of those pieces of technology, you can use Google. You can use Google Hangouts. You can use YouTube Live. On air. You can do different things with it, and people have seen massive success from that. So all that to say that the system that he used, everything that he used there, is easy to do, or not easy to do, but it's easy enough to do that there's no excuse for you to not be doing it in your business.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, you might not be as smooth as like him right off the bat, but like you can still model. Like I'm going to try to, I mean, I know I'm not going to be able to like have his salesmanship and copywriting, but I'm going to like, at least it's working. I'm obviously for him and other people.
And you know what? And you know what? I think that's where there's forgiveness in video. And I think that that's something that in my course and in sort of all the follow-up, because when we launch the course, we're also launching a Facebook group associated with it to essentially make good on the promise that we're going to be making in the course, which is we're going to be promising that if you aren't satisfied with this course, you're going to get your money back. And the way that I feel like it's really easy for us to make that promise is, we're especially with these early launches of the course, we're going to prioritize those Facebook group members and make changes to the course based on things that they felt were unclear, or things that they felt they were really looking for and didn't find. All of that is going to get answered in that Facebook group. And then again, we're going to go back into the course and make those changes, because I'm all about iterations, and I'm all about, basically getting better. And so, with your with your course coming up, one of the things that is possible with video is it gives that forgiveness. It gives that forgiveness of if you are sincere about giving value to the people that you're speaking to, it's going to show. You know what I mean? It's going to show. And so when you're teaching them and when you're delivering that value in your cold traffic video, in all of your follow-up videos, and then in your webinar, it's really going to show. And I think people respond to that sometimes better than they do to professional copy or anything like that. Because in a way, those things are architected to try to emulate the kind of trust that we're doing through just being social people. Just by talking face to face, there's this trust that's developed over time, especially with people who are giving you value and you haven't really given anything back to them in return. But the copy fails sometimes when you put too much focus on like the structure and the intentionality behind it over just being honest and giving value and just being genuine.
Yeah, I do. I love video. I mean, I'm just, like the ability.
Obviously.
We're on right now, but I mean, the ability to do what we're doing now and post it to YouTube and have people get value out of this conversation. I get value out of it. And, all this good stuff can happen. And, before, like, we would have to write a freaking huge blog post or some other kind of thing to get this message out there. Even like 5 years ago, this would be hard as hell to probably do,
There's a lot of things that have happened over the last couple of years. And I really feel like the advent of Facebook video ads has really changed the game, because video before Facebook video ads, I mean, it was about TV, it was about landing pages. One of the hardest things for me when I was doing, and I still do commercial videos for clients because that's part of the testing process for me. Some people want me to do that video for them and just knock that out like you when you approached us with the animation project. So one of the things that was available then when I first got started helping out clients was just landing pages and video, or landing pages and YouTube, I should say. YouTube was kind of the place where you could get your face out there, but really it was about search, it was about intent, and it was about what people were looking for at the moment. And with adding in Facebook, what we're seeing is the ability to create a relationship in Facebook and start that conversation before intent has even happened, before they even have the desire to go search for something. You build that relationship, you establish it, you get in front of them, and you kind of interrupt them in their normal pattern on the Facebook newsfeed. You give them value and you establish that relationship. And then when they go to search for something, they're either going to search for you, they're going to search for your name on YouTube, or they're going to search for that keyword. And if you are running YouTube ads as well, then you're hitting that keyword, and they're going to see your face. They're going to recognize you, and they're going to want to click on that. So having that 1-2 punch, I say Facebook video ads are like the jab, and then YouTube is that hook, because when you come in and you catch people actually at the moment of the search, then that's super powerful. And so I love seeing Facebook video ads used for what they're intended for, and then YouTube coming in really with that solid, this is the time I need it. This is the moment I need it. So,
right. Yeah. Facebook is like you're in their house, and then YouTube, like when they subscribe, they're in my house or whatever, so.
And then they can see, Facebook hasn't yet really created the best way to create a library of videos. Yes, you can go watch some of these videos on their Facebook page, but that's not why people are on Facebook. They're not typically just wanting to go into somebody's page and look through all their videos. They might look at the content on there, but honestly, when they're on YouTube, they're there to watch. They're there to consume. And so if you can establish the relationship, like you said, in their house, where they feel comfortable, where they feel like, if they saw your face real quick and they saw that you were giving them value, then that'd be a great start to the relationship. Then when they come over to your house, not only are they going to watch one video, but if you have a bunch of videos, and that's another thing that we talk about in the course, is we talk about the way that we batch our videos, and how we get a lot of videos made in such a short amount of time without it being like this huge lift. So we go through the ways that we've kind of gone through sort of automating that process for us. And again, kind of like the violin case scenario, it's not hard to get up and rolling.
I'm living proof, dude. I've got a $700-800 camera behind me in this closet. I never use, but I use my iPhone and my webcam.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, that camera is great. But like you said, dude, there's a lot more like calibration you have to do and put it on a tripod and like blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
iPhone webcam. Yeah, it's not as good as far as quality probably, but it's pretty damn close nowadays. And the new iterations of these phones are getting even better. So it's like, God only knows what's going to happen. I want to ask you a question. One thing we talked about a little bit offline was the cost about Facebook ads as far as videos. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's one of the more inexpensive ways to approach Facebook ads, right?
Yeah. The excellent thing is that when you start running a Facebook ad, video views are typically around like a penny. They typically start around a penny, and then they can go up or down from there. It might be 2, 3, depending on how targeted you get and depending how big the audience is, it gets a little bit more expensive. But honestly, you are creating a ton of value. You're creating a ton of you're building the relationship really fast by showing your face, by speaking, and by being in front of people in that medium. And people are consuming videos since video ads showed up. And this is actually sort of like my personal testimony and why I really feel like this is where advertisers need to be focused, is beyond just the case studies that that we're putting together, and beyond just the actual examples I've seen from the advertiser's perspective. As a consumer, I have to watch myself on Facebook, because what will happen is I'll get on Facebook, I'll be scrolling through the news feed, and I will see a video and just my finger leaves the screen and I'm watching this video, and I don't mean to be watching it. But because of how engaging videos are on Facebook, they're moving, and there's almost like this moment when you're watching a moving video on there where you want to problem solve what that video is talking about before you click on it. You want to figure it out,
right?
And they're just so eye catching. And so when you compare that with the typical image ads on Facebook, there's so much more that's happening there. So there's so much more ability to get traction. So I really believe that it is it's going to be less expensive. It's definitely going to be less expensive as far as when people are watching it and they're consuming your content, it's going to be an inexpensive way to do that. You have to test it. I would say that you always have to test it, because like one guy in DM said that he didn't see a huge increase when he ran videos first, but and then ran a image ad to them later. That's kind of what I took from it. One of the things that I said to him after he left that comment, I liked that comment because it did solidify that this isn't, the silver bullet. You still need to keep in mind who your audience is. And for him, I've seen his website. His website is definitely geared to somebody who would rather read and consume that. And I haven't seen his videos either. So I can't say whether or not they're really hitting his audience where they're at. But he's has so much success communicating with his audience in that particular medium, in the image ad medium, that I believe that you should focus on the one thing that's going to be huge for you. And for him, it's definitely still image ads. But even he is still thinking, because he told me that, I know he's thinking of how to stay relevant and of how to better communicate and optimize his ads. So Facebook video ads, if you haven't tried it, it needs to be something that you try, because it's not hard to get one up. It's not hard to get rolling with it. And the potential impact that happens there, just from a view, is huge because
Yeah.
people are more likely to recognize you. I'm a person, so this is something else that's interesting too. A person in two different images can look like two different people. So if you're using your face at all in your image ads, or if you're using your face at all on your website, maybe you're using the same picture, I don't know. But if you see somebody on video, you can recognize them in real life. You can recognize them at an event. You can recognize them, off the street. But if all you've seen is a picture, it's a flat image, and you haven't seen any perspective, and that's the only angle that you've really viewed them at. And so one of the things that happens right away with video is that you're branding yourself, and you're branding yourself in a way that's impossible with image ads.
I love it, dude. I'm on board. You got me pumped up to go out and do a video. I'm serious. I've been, like, I know I have to do it, like, period. I do videos all the freaking time. Like, so it's the next logical step. And just figuring out this process. So that's why I'm going to invest in your course, because like, I need to learn, a lot more about it before I just like jump in and start throwing stuff out there from more of a business standpoint, like, what to do, how to parlay this into sales and traffic. But what I love about like the whole video ad and especially Facebook ads is because like what Ryan Dice says, like, we don't have a traffic problem. Back in the day you did, because like you had to do SEO, you had to do it the hard way. But now like Facebook knows every single thing about us pretty much, and we can target directly.
There's a lot of information.
It's pretty scary, but we can target directly to our audience and speak to them. So, and if you, like you said, man, if you can be engaging, entertaining, informative, give really good value, you're going to build an audience and, convert traffic into sales. If that is your goal, or whatever your goal is, you're going to be able to accomplish it faster with Facebook ads, and specifically video ads. So I've been talking about this a lot. I'm excited about it, man. Geez, dude, we could talk about this all the time. And I want to have you back on because there's so much things about video, because I'm doing Periscope now, and Facebook just came out with doing live Facebook stuff. So I want to get to that eventually.
Well, and we never even talked about, so one of the huge benefits of Facebook video ads is one of the people who recently has approached me with advertising. They want me to run Facebook ads for them. They have two really big challenges. One is that they're starting from scratch, and the second is that they actually don't have a website up yet. They have a Facebook page up, but they don't have a website up yet. And so one of the huge benefits of Facebook video ads is that you don't need a website to retarget people, right? You don't need a website to follow up with people. And the pixeling on a Facebook video ad is, you can pixel far more people on a Facebook video ad and follow up with far more people who have watched your video ad than you can with, an image ad that leads to. So when you pixel people on your website, I think I actually mentioned this in the case study, and actually I think this is one of the things that was brought up later. They were asking, what the audience size was that we built, and basically we were pixeling people on that landing page, but we were also pixeling people on the video, and we pixeled from one video, and we ran several videos, so the website had more of a chance to build up pixels, but the website only had, by the end of everything, 700 to 900 people, whereas the Facebook video ad not only had, so there was 9,000 people that were pixeled, but all of those people are the people who watched it to completion. So we pixeled 100,000 people who had just viewed it. But to completion, we pixeled 8,000 or 9,000 people.
And if people don't know that, the pixel will basically allow you to retarget them. And those are your people, those 9,000. I'm assuming you guys retargeted those because those are the people that watched it. So not
only did we retarget them, but we also made lookalike audiences off of them, which dramatically improved the results of our cold ads. So not only do we improve the results of our warm ads by having that retargeting pixel and following up with those people, but we improve the results of our cold ads by making a lookalike audience off of the people who completed the video.
Wow, that's amazing. So Facebook, will they automatically do it? So like if I watched your video for 30 seconds or however long it was, it'll pixel me as a person that
as a person that completed, it'll create two audiences automatically. One is the audience that video, and then one is the audience that completed the video.
Okay, and that does it automatically do that, or do you have to like set that up?
It will actually. So I don't know what it used to be actually, because I know that there was some trouble with people setting up those audiences, but now Facebook actually does it automatically. And so although I have jumped into some ad accounts that have had issues with it, so but those were ad accounts from people who were in another country, and actually the ad accounts from country to country I think vary, because a couple features I don't know are fully available yet in like Australia. So
right, I think the regulations and rules and stuff like that, like privacy laws, kind of prevent maybe that. But dude, that is power. I did not know that you could actually, that Facebook actually did that on the video. So you're like getting super power, like that you can't get with images, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's huge. And the other thing too, and that's huge for anybody who anybody, even if you have a website, that's huge. But the other really powerful point to that is that Facebook right now is only pixeling. If you watch the video, that means you've watched at least 3 seconds. So they're only pixeling that's one pixel, and then they got the completed, watched 100%. But what's coming is they're also giving you in the statistics. This isn't a pixel that you can create, but they're giving you in the statistics the amount of people who have completed different percentages of the video. And so what I foresee coming, and I believe I've heard talk of this, is that they're going to create ways for you to target people who have reached specific points in your video. I think that's the next evolution of video ads, because if you can do that and you know where your call to action is, if your call to action is halfway in the video and you want to follow, like maybe you have a call to action, a soft call to action halfway in the video, and then you have another call to action at the completion. Maybe you want to target, instead of people who have watched your video at all, only 3 seconds of it, maybe you want to target people who have watched at least up to the middle and people who have watched the end, so that that they've at least seen, that call to action.
Right, because I mean, someone who just seen it in 3 seconds, if we have that data that says, hey, they've got to 85%, maybe, their kid came into the room or something, maybe they still want to know you, but something, whatever. So when you start doing it on a massive level, I think that's going to be powerful, dude. I'm excited, man. You got me pumped up. I'm gonna go shoot one real quick and just
awesome.
What I can do, man. But dude, I want to have you back on after your course launches, because I have a lot of questions on I'm sure you're experimenting, or with Periscope, live videos and all that other stuff that we can do, and all that good stuff, dude. And then so we'll be able to really dive deeper into that, man. So Errol, dude, it's been a pleasure having you on. I personally learned a lot. I know anybody who watches this video is going to learn a lot. Real quick, man, where can they find you? I know you have your podcast that you're possibly going to be doing here in the future.
Yeah. So if any of you guys have an interest, most of you guys are probably entrepreneurs, but if any of you guys have an interest in filmmaking, then we're going to be relaunching the Film Thrive podcast, which is basically all about helping people who are in the filmmaking world basically make a living with their films. And those go hand in hand with a lot of the stuff that we're learning about Facebook and how you can establish relationships and build audiences, and then tie that into your YouTube ads and stuff like that. So really we're trying to create a system that is powerful for anybody, even entrepreneurs in different niches. But specifically with the Film Thrive podcast, we're aiming solely at filmmakers and really trying to answer the specific problems when you're in an entertainment niche. So so filmthrive.com is live, and there's already a ton of podcasts that are there that people can go check out. And then avalancheroi.com is where all the stuff about what I just talked about, including the case studies, are launching. And then that's also where we're going to be launching the course that's coming up in the next couple weeks. So yeah.
Yeah, go over there and check it out, man. Well, dude, it's been a pleasure. I want to definitely have you on in a couple of weeks when everything's ready to rock and roll, dude. And we'll talk a little bit more about video marketing and anything else, man. So thanks for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
This was awesome, Jason. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.